What's going on? Sergeant Gonzo Boogie here again, back for another DVD and VHS update. And it's been a while since my last video, so I have a lot to show here, and it's mostly all horror movies. Like, it's, the fall time's coming around the corner, and Halloween is also creeping up. And I just love this time of the year, so I usually just spend this whole time of the year just stocking up on horror movies. But I picked up a lot since my last video. So this whole video is going to be mostly horror movies. At the end I have a couple non-horror things I'm going to show. But I'm just going to get going here because I have a lot to show here. And I don't want the video to go on for too long. But first up, I have a small stack of Anchor Bays that I picked up recently. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I love to collect Anchor Bay horror movies. I just think they're awesome. So I finally got some here that I've been wanting for a while. Finally got around to getting Sleepaway Camp, which I just think is awesome. I got this used for a really good price. I was a little disappointed it didn't come with an insert though, but Sleepaway Camp is a really good 80s slasher movie. And then next up is Alice Sweet Alice, which this is a late 70s slasher movie. And it's known for being the most like giallo-ish American horror movie ever made, basically. And this movie has always reminded me of a giallo. The first time I saw this, I had also just started to watch Dario Argento's films like Suspiria and everything. So whenever I thought about this movie, I always thought about the giallo films. But I finally got around to picking this up. One of my friends used to have this on DVD years ago, and I haven't seen it in probably like 8 years, so I don't remember too much of this. But this DVD is really out of print. It's hard to find, but again, I found a really good price on this, so I was really happy. And this one actually came with the insert, which has the original movie poster on the front, chapter selections, movie poster, just a nice insert too. And this was actually the first movie that Brooke Shields was in, and I know a lot of people know about this movie for that reason. Alright. And here is a cool copy of Dawn of the Dead that I've always wanted to pick up. It's actually known as just the US theatrical cut, but I don't think there's any difference between this cut of the movie and the special edition that Anchor Bay put out. I think they're both the US theatrical cuts of the movie, but I've always liked just the way this DVD looked, and ever since I started to collect Anchor Bay DVDs years ago, this has been one that I always wanted to get. I really love the colors on the cover, just very bright and vibrant. It goes through like every color, just really nice. I just think it's really cool. And this also came with the insert, cool disc design too. Really cool. Not even sure like what this poster is from. I've never really seen it, but cool anyways. And then last, for the Anchor Bay DVDs, I picked up this really interesting edition of Halloween on DVD, which I saw at FYE for $10. I actually had passed on this, and when I got home I looked it up on the computer and I realized that it was going for like $50. This edition with the holographic cover right here is, for some reason, out of print and extremely rare, like a lot of other Anchor Bays, but I just saw it going for a lot of money, so I actually drove back down and picked it up because I just thought it was too good of a deal for $10. So I actually went on a little adventure to get this copy of Halloween, but I'm glad I did in the long run because it's really nice. It's got a holographic cover. Got some cool special features, and it's just cool to add on to my out of print Anchor Bay editions. And it came with some cool stuff. This is what the inside looks like. I love the disc art there, but nothing special for Halloween. But it came with this postcard, which I thought was really cool, and also the insert for this I'll show. They're just really cool, and I'm really glad that I went back to get this because Again, like I said, it's really rare and out of print. Mostly just for the holographic cover. It's like a little plastic insert thing, the holographic cover. Actually, like, it's like kind of thick, and it makes the case a little tight, but it's just an interesting DVD. Really glad I picked this one up. Next up here is Psycho 2, which I've never seen this, but I've always wanted to. This sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's classic Psycho. This came out in the 80s. And I also have this on tape, and I was going to get around to watching this a while ago, and I picked it up on tape, but I never did, so, you know, I figured I'd get it on DVD and see what this one's all about. And then next up here, I actually picked up two Alfred Hitchcock movies. I picked up Rear Window, which I've never seen, but I've heard a lot of good about, so I've always wanted to see this one. I'm not the biggest Alfred Hitchcock fan, but I figured I would pick up a couple more of his movies, because the only one I had on DVD was Psycho. And then The Birds, which I have seen before, and I gotta say, I remember the first time I saw this, it didn't really impress me too much. I thought there was like something missing from the story or from the movie itself, so I want to give this one another try, see if maybe I like it more now than I did last time I watched it. And then on DVD I picked up the classic Bela Lugosi Dracula, which I don't have on DVD right now, but I do have this on tape. But this is really cool. I got this for $5, brand new at FYE, and it comes with all three different versions of the movie: the restored original version, the second version that has like a different score to it, and then the actual Spanish version, which was filmed with a whole Spanish cast and director and producer. It was like the whole movie was made with like a Spanish production team and everything, so it was a lot different. So it was interesting to watch that one, the Spanish version of this. The cover of this is really nice too. Alright, and then got Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, which this is one of my favorite out of the Abbott and Costello movies, just because I love classic mummy horror movies. So I've always liked watching this one. This is really cool. You can only get this one and Meet the Monsters or Meet Frankenstein on tape. I'm on DVD, so I'm glad that I have both of them on DVD now. Separate like this. You can get this and the other monster ones on the Abbott and Costello collection packs, but if you want to get them separate, you can only get the Mummy and the Meet Frankenstein ones. So definitely cool. Then I picked up Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis. I've actually never seen this, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this one's all about. Another Jamie Lee Curtis slasher movie, Prom Night. Also looking forward to checking this one out. Got this cool Midnight Movie 2-pack. Came with Deranged and Motel Hell. I basically bought this from Motel Hell. I saw a review of this movie online recently, and it made me want to check it out. But Deranged actually sounds good. It's like a Ed Gein type movie. I guess it's based on Ed Gein's story, like a lot of movies were. So, you know, I also want to check that out. Sounds interesting to me also. Then this is The Wraith, which has Charlie Sheen in it. And I thought this was a really fun movie. It's like a science fiction movie, and it's, you know, it's like an 80s science fiction action movie. It's got like punk rockers and rock and roll music in it. Just like a fun 80s science fiction type movie. Very low budget, but still really fun. I thought this was a fun movie. Then I picked up the Elite edition of the Halloween 3, which I didn't know you can buy. I didn't know this was a Elite edition. Like, I think I've passed on this DVD a bunch of times, and for some reason I picked it up when I was looking at it, and I saw that this was released by Elite, so, you know, I figured I'd pick it up, because they do a good job, you know, with the quality of their horror movie releases, too. I always like buying Elite horror movies. So really cool here. picked up Return of the Living Dead 3, which I was really surprised by this movie. I actually liked it a lot. I liked it more than Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which I also recently watched for the first time, and I thought I was really gonna like that movie because I love the first Return of the Living Dead. And, you know, don't get me wrong, actually, I thought Return of the Living Dead 2 was a good movie, but for some reason I actually enjoyed watching this one more than I did Return of the Living Dead 2. There's just something about this movie that worked for me. I thought it was just a good movie overall. Alright, and then here we got Hellraiser Inferno, which I saw this one years ago, but I haven't seen it anytime recently. I picked this up just because I saw it at like a thrift store for like $3. And it was in pretty good condition. And then this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which I actually haven't seen this in years. It's probably been like 4, maybe even 5 years since I've seen this movie. And I remember when this first came out, I actually really liked this. I had some like action figures of it, and you know, maybe even some more memorabilia. But I remember really liking this movie when it first came out, and I just thought of it as part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Like, I didn't think of it really as like a remake or anything like that. But now when I look back on it, you know, this was actually a pretty good remake. So I picked it up cheap at a thrift store. You know, I figured I would, next time I'm watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, I'll cap it off with this one. I actually remember I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, and I didn't really like it too much, and I haven't had a chance to see the newest one yet, but I do want to check that out eventually. Alright, and then here is actually something really awesome. This is the Wizard of Gore, and I think this is a remake of like an old Roger Corman movie, maybe. I might be wrong about that, but I know it's a remake of an older like horror movie. But the reason this is so awesome is because this movie actually stars Crispin Glover, who is just one of my favorite actors of all time. I just think he's awesome. Every movie I've ever seen with him in it, he steals like every scene he's in. I just think he's one of the coolest and most unique actors around. But this looks like a fun movie, in my opinion. I've actually never really heard anything about this. I just remember hearing that Crispin Glover was in this, and I saw it at FYE for like $3, brand new. Actually, one of my friends I was with spotted it out, so I basically had to get this. It's really cool. Another addition to my Crispin Glover collection. Then next up here is The Dentist, which I've never seen this, but I wanted to check this out because the director of this movie also directed Return of the Living Dead 3, and I like that movie so much that I actually wanted to see more movies by that director. The Dentist. This is this was like written by Stuart Gordon too, who wrote Reanimator and directed Reanimator. The Dentist. And then last here for the DVDs, I have a couple TV shows. Picked up season 1 of Tales from the Crypt, and I've had this on DVD before. I just haven't had it anytime recently, so I'm glad to pick this one up again. They had it at Walmart for like $10. I was like, why not? And then last here is The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror collection. And this actually only has 4 episodes on it, which it kind of bums me out they won't release a full collection of Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. They should do it in volumes. I know on Amazon.com you can like download volumes of the Treehouse of Horror, but they should like make that into DVD form, because I've always wanted to buy that. Like, this is a good set, but it's just, it doesn't have too many episodes on it. It only has 4, and only 2 of them are the like classic episodes. Actually, the first 3 on here are like classic episodes, and then the 4th one is a newish episode. But this pack has been around for a while now, so it's not even that new of an episode anymore. It's almost like 10 years old. But I've always loved the Treehouse of Horror episodes. The Simpsons is one of my favorite cartoons in general, but the Treehouse of Horror episodes are some of my favorite things to watch that get me into the Halloween spirit. I used to watch them all the time when I was younger, around Halloween time. And if I want to get into that like Halloween spirit, I will throw some episodes of this on, or try to find some episodes of this to watch. And I always have just a great time watching these. Some of the best horror parodies just ever made, in my opinion, are on some of these Treehouse of Horror episodes. Alright, and that's it for the DVDs. But I have a small stack of tapes here that I want to go through. First off here we have Night of the Living Dead. This is a really cool 25th anniversary collector set. It's actually in this like 2 VHS collection like case setup thing. But one reason I was iffy on buying this is it's like really damaged. The packaging itself, you probably can't tell too well in the video, but it's obviously sun damaged. The lighting, the colors are a little bit faded, is what I mean. And there's actually like water or liquid damage on the cardboard case itself. But I thought it was such a cool looking tape that I wanted to pick it up anyways. And also one of the tapes is damaged. I don't know if you can see that on here, but it's actually broke, one of the tapes itself. So I'm sure these tapes might not even work. And I'm not even sure if I want to try them because they're water damaged. They might be dirty in general, but I just thought it was a cool looking tape, and I know this is a rare tape too. I've looked it up, and the 2 tape set of this goes for a lot of money, brand new. So I just thought this was like a unique find, and it was only like $1, so I picked it up anyways. But I usually don't buy like broken or beat up tapes. It really has to be something like really cool like this, in my opinion. Right, and then I actually picked up the whole George A. Romero zombie trilogy on tape recently. I actually have these movies on tape already. I just found some cool copies of these. Like here's Dawn of the Dead. I found it at a thrift store for $1. I just think this is a really cool looking edition of Dawn of the Dead too. Love the orange on it. Just looks awesome. That little picture of the guys from the movie looks cool too. Just a cool release of this on tape. And then Day of the Dead, which I also think is a pretty nice looking tape. My other copy of Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead I like more, but I've shown those off in updates before, and I actually plan on doing a video where I show my entire George A. Romero zombie collection. So I'll have a video like that up eventually one of these days. Alright, and actually the last 2 tapes here aren't horror movies, they're Power Ranger tapes, and I actually found some really cool Power Ranger tapes. They had this really old one. I think this was part of the first series of Power Ranger tapes released, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and this is Happy Birthday Zach. This is one of the Black Ranger episodes and tapes. It's really cool. Glad to find this. And then they had one of the Green Ranger tapes there too, which this is the Green with Evil Part 4. And I would love to get all these on tape because that's one of my favorite parts in the first series of Power Rangers, the first season, when the Green Ranger comes in. Just awesome, really awesome. And if you've seen some of my other videos, I just love the classic Power Rangers. It was one of my favorite things when I was a little kid, and now I just, it's one of the most nostalgic things I can watch now. Just a really fun show in general. And then last here, the show is actually Power Rangers related too, but I picked up this really cool Lord Zed action figure. It's a Toys R Us exclusive. And I saw this at Toys R Us because me and my friends stop in every once in a while to see what's there, and I couldn't say no to this. It's actually one of the coolest Power Ranger things I have in my collection right now. I just think it's really cool. And Lord Zed is one of the villains in Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Just a really cool figure, and yeah, I'm really pumped that I picked this up. So that was the update, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And definitely leave a comment or give a thumbs up if you did, and thanks for watching.